It's very month of June-ish right now to discuss this, but I think it's fun to do right now anyway. If you checked out the Twitter sphere around Nebraska's official visit weekend they had recently, Matt Rhule, I don't know if it was his idea or somebody else's idea, brought in a live bull for these photo shoots. Go ahead and take a look at this, man. Check that out, dude. Just a coach looking like an absolute dog right there with a real live animal, a bull right there behind him, with him. Like, that in itself, Twitter reacted accordingly to this. You would expect college football Twitter to react if it's not your team, saying, doing anything but winning. It's just corny. I was a fan of this, personally. Like, we see wilder stuff on official visit weekends. I mean, we see Texas pull out the Lambos. What's the Nebraska equivalent of a Lambo? A bull, I think. Like, I thought it was dope, thought it was different. And I also think, if you're asking, like, what's the point, I was asking myself the same question as I thought it was cool. I think the point here is it kind of fits with the tenor of what Nebraska football is aspiring to be under Matt Rhule. They want to be physical, want to be kind of blue collar, want to be the aggressor, kind of like a bull, right? Dylan Raiola posted on his socials a picture with it, and he said, "Take the bull by the horns." Also a helpful maybe mantra when it comes to explaining what this whole deal is with the official visit pictures. The bottom line is, I think it's cool. Does it mean a lot? Not really. There's not a ton to unpack with like Matt Rhule having a bull for official visit pictures, but I do think now as you zoom out a little bit and you discuss the idea around Matt Rhule at Nebraska and the progress and all those things, I think Matt Rhule as a coach has always been what you would classify as like an evaluation guy. When you're coaching at Temple or you're coaching at Baylor, you're probably not going after the top 5 stars. I mean, you're going after them, but you're probably not always landing them. If you're Matt Rhule, you've made your bed, you've made your money by being able to grab the 3-star that goes out to be an NFL player, right? That's kind of what he's made his money doing. However, I think for the first time now, Matt Rhule's at a place in Nebraska where the logo is in the blue blood conversation. I would argue Nebraska still is a blue blood when you talk about the history of college football. That's, I think, a little bit of a different level of ammunition he's working with. Like, there's people that look at the Nebraska logo, they know it's a college football kind of school, okay? I'm not knocking Temple, not knocking Baylor. I mean, God forbid I do that, my wife went to Baylor. But I'm just saying, I think that itself is a bit of a different angle and different, again, ammo he's working with on the recruiting trail. Matt Rhule, to me, has always been a just get him in the room kind of guy. And I don't know if people get to see this enough around him with what he is as a coach. He's one of those individuals that I think is legitimately one of the best communicators I've ever seen in person. Like, he can talk to you, instill confidence, instill belief, get you fired up. Like you buy what Matt Rhule is selling, because I think he's one of the most real coaches in college football, just full transparency. I think that what you see is what you get. He's going to shoot you straight. And in the world of modern recruiting, I think people appreciate that. I think people gravitate to that. So my point in all this is like, yeah, the bull picture is a little bit funny. It's a little bit fun to crack jokes at on social media if you're an opposing fan base. But like the juice behind Matt Rhule as a recruiter now is very different than what it was at his previous stops. That, I think, could ultimately bode tremendous dividends for Nebraska on the recruiting trail for years to come here. Because very quietly now, there's a lot in place for Nebraska. Like, the care factor at a place like that is through the roof when it comes to how much they care about their football. Brand power is there to be activated. Have as talented a quarterback as you've had for, we're going to go ahead and be a little bit lofty here, since Eric Crouch? Like, since 2002? I'm just saying, Dylan Raiola now, his skill set gets you excited in the way that he played a season ago. You saw flashes that keep you excited. So I love seeing Matt Rhule here maybe pressing the gas a little more as a recruiter, leaning into this whole thing. And I think the mission for Nebraska isn't to have the number 1 class in America. Like, I'm sure it is internally. I'm not saying that can't happen. But I think when you're talking about what has to happen for Nebraska to get to where they want to go with winning the Big Ten, it's just to be in the same tier from a talent perspective as your opponents with the big dogs, Ohio State, Michigan, Penn State, Oregon. I'm not saying you beat them on the recruiting trail for every single commit, but I am saying when you talk about the schools that have the most talent, you mention Nebraska in that tier. Not the most talented, but in that tier. Because if you can just get in the same tier, get within what I would call striking distance of what those rosters have, at that point in time, then you feel good because you say, okay, it's on our coaching staff. It's on our culture. It's on our toughness. It's on all the things that I think Matt Rhule majors in that could ultimately and will ultimately lead to success while he's there in Lincoln. Kind of similar to how maybe Michigan felt when Harbaugh was there. Not saying they're the same coach, not saying it's the same kind of program, but I am saying when you talk about what Michigan was, it was like they get the lower tier recruits and then they develop them and then they end up having success. Now, Michigan also had a lot of top tier recruits, so don't hear me incorrectly, but that's kind of the way that I feel about Nebraska as we head into the future under Matt Rhule in 2025 and the more immediate future. But at the end of the day, I'm here for the bowl photos. Don't want to take too much from them, but I think they're fun, and I'm all the way about having a live animal at your official visit photo shoot. See weird things in photo shoots all the time, man. Bulls, why not?